up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Recliner Sports Report for another week's episode of Knockout Bets Podcast. Andrew, how are we doing, buddy?
Let's go. Today is a good day. I have some strong thoughts on what we're about to talk about. It's all good.
Dude, I'm excited to talk about these fights, but I'm more excited. I was talking before, but it's been a good day for Recliner Sports Report. We finished first in our Spark League tonight on the round today. We finished in first place for tonight. I had two chip-ins, one to save for a bogey, one to save for a par, and we only won by one stroke. We were -5, and the winning team was -4. So
that's sick.
So very good day for Recliner Sports Report. Way to represent in the greater Boston area, North Shore. We're sitting in first in our league now, Andrew.
That's up.
12th in the whole entire Boston market. So we're fighting for that top 10 spot. Double points from now on. But you know what? If you haven't already, go and search Golf Spark League. This is for all the viewers. I'm in no way affiliated with these people. But go and search Spark Golf app and look up the leagues around your area. I bet you'd be surprised how many actual leagues are in your area. I got lucky last year. I played in it, and I was a single. And there was another guy as a single in the league. He messaged me through the app. We became partners, and now we're going again for another year. And, the amount of people you meet, it's great. You meet really, really good people. Every week you're golfing with someone that's really, really awesome in the area, and you get to make new friends, and you get to golf, and it's really fun. So check them out, Spark Golf app over your free time. But yeah, dude, you ready to so I guess before we start on this card, we got to talk about last week's fights, man.
Let's talk about last week. That was a banger of a card. So my favorite bet that I made last week was Brian Barberena's live line. Love that one coming through at plus money. I will admit I also bet Cerrone's live line, and that one did not work out so well. Gotta just mention, Cerrone retiring, the amount of records, it would take us our whole show almost to list them all off. But the incredible career that guy had, yes, skidded into the end of it as some do, maybe not quite to the level of like BJ Penn or somebody like that, but rough run at the end, but epic career for Cerrone. And it's always a little bit sad when somebody like that retires, but wish him the best with being in movies or whatever he's trying to do next. Yeah, man. The Pereira knockout was obviously sick. I don't know why Strickland stood in front of him and didn't try to wrestle. We were both on Max Holloway. I'm not even going to say it was like a disappointing Max Holloway performance. It was an incredible Volkanovski performance from my point of view. To do what he did to who he did it to, you're starting to talk about, you're seeing people debate, is he number one pound for pound right now, or is it Kamaru? That was just an incredible performance, especially considering that he did that to Max Holloway. Like, the two of them have separated themselves from the division, and to be that dominant against the clear next best guy, I was not expecting that. I was expecting a much closer fight like their first two were. And so I guess props to Volkanovski on that one.
Yeah, you put it like that, you're right. Not disappointed in Holloway's fight, but it's just disappointed that he didn't win. But Volkanovski, he's on another level right now. I do think he might be able to make a dent in the 155 division. I don't know.
That's the thing, right? What does he do next? Because he's between the two of them, they've cleared out a lot of 145.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of challengers there right now. Of course, guys will build themselves up, and in a year and a half, there'll be a guy or two. But yeah, do you see him fight Charles Oliveira next, or even just somebody who would be interesting?
Chandler.
Chandler, Dustin Poirier. I mean, there's
Gaethje.
rumors out there that they're going to fight each other, but I would love to see Volkanovski against Gaethje. That would be a fun fight. That
He's
would
so
be an
quick.
absolute banger.
So that's the thing about Volkanovski. He's so quick and he's so powerful.
Yep. And yeah, and he's got a little bit on the ground to offer. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest grappling of all time necessarily, but it's obviously good enough to make him dominant at 145.
And the only thing interesting about the Izzy fight, I loved his walkout. His walkout was amazing.
I feel like when you have a walkout like that, you got to get a finish, though. I mean, we talked about it last week. We said this could be a pretty boring pepper style fight, and that's pretty much what we got, and he won. I saw somebody, I forget where on the internet it was, might have been Twitter, might have been somewhere else, said that Adesanya these days is like the modern day version of Floyd Mayweather in boxing. I thought that was pretty accurate. Like, Floyd Mayweather was so dominant, but didn't really have exciting fights. Like, he wasn't knocking dudes out left and right. He was winning a lot of fights by decision, but was winning every single fight, clearly. And so I thought that was a good comparison for Izzy these days. And I know, Izzy knocked out Paulo Costa not that long ago, but he's had a lot of these stare at you and win a decision type fights recently too.
Yeah. But he does make it entertaining sometimes, and that's why we love him. This one, though, he just fought a smart fight. And you know what? We're not in the ring, so I don't know what I would have done either, but he won.
I mean, he got the win, right?
So dominantly, too. Like, it was clearly a dominant win. Saying, like, I think what we said, maybe one round to Cannonier. Like,
not even. I think Izzy took all 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, Cannonier might have had, you're right, Cannonier might have had, I forget, like the 3rd round maybe.
Yeah.
Where he got a little bit of top control.
It was pretty dominant throughout the whole thing. It was pretty dominant by Izzy. All right, man. Well, guess we'll have to see what's next for those fighters. That I feel like could be a whole other episode. But this week's episode,
well, Izzy's getting Alex Pereira next.
For sure,
that's the fight to make. I mean, that's an exciting fight. He beat him twice in kickboxing. That's going to be a fun one. Yeah. I know I was sitting here last week saying I don't want to see it because Pereira's getting rushed to a title shot, but now that he flatlined Strickland and now that he's there, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that my pick is not going to age well on that one. That's I was wrong. But best of luck to Sean Strickland.
I think a lot of people thought that Strickland would come out and wrestle a little more than he did.
I don't know what he was thinking, but I'm not in there. And you know what? He would kick my butt, so whatever. All right, well, on to the next card. We got UFC Fight Night, Dos Anjos versus Fiziev. 2 absolute savages. The first one we're going to talk about tonight is epic battle here. We got a former from the Ultimate Fighter, and these are 2 finishers. We got Cody Brundage coming in at 7-2. He is the slight underdog at plus 125, and we got Tresean Gore 4-1, and he's sitting at minus 150. Andrew, give me your first thoughts on this one.
Yeah, so Cody Brundage is obviously a wrestler first. That's his background. He's a wrestler in college. That's his fighting style, ideally, is to get you up against the fence or just double leg you, whatever he can do for a takedown. He does throw hard shots on the feet, uses his hands to set up his takedowns pretty well. He does definitely have an experience advantage in this fight. I mean, the guys he's fought in his first 2 fights in the UFC are no slouches. I mean, he fought Nick Maximov in his first fight in the UFC, and he fought Dalcha, I always butcher his last name, Langiambula in his most recent fight. And Dalcha had him hurt. Dalcha was raining shots on him, and somehow he hung in there, snatched the neck, and got the submission, which was really impressive, kind of desperation grab, and sunk it in and got it. Gore, if he comes and brings a good game plan and fights the way he is capable of, is definitely the better of these 2 fighters to me. That being said, We saw it against Brian Battle. He sometimes has a tendency to be really low volume, and that can be really problematic. However, when he does let his hands go, he has really fast hands. He hits accurately. He hits incredibly hard. I think he's definitely live for a knockout in this fight. Brundage showed against Lajimbula and on some of his tape further back, he's definitely hittable on the feet. And if Gore can crack him, this could be over quickly or at any point in the fight. I think Gore can carry his power certainly into the second round and probably into the third as well. Gore also is no slouch wrestling. He's got offensive wrestling for sure, and also has really solid takedown defense. I'm really torn on this fight because I can see it. I can see a lot of different scenarios playing out in this one. I'm leaning towards Gore. I think that's where my bet's probably going to go. I think Gore is the more skilled guy. But if he gets pushed up against the fence and Brundage just gets a whole bunch of clinch control time, that can add up, that can zap some of the power, and maybe Brundage gets takedowns later in the fight and is able to win a decision. I'm leaning Gore, but ever so slightly, and I haven't bet it yet.
Gore's a great fighter, no doubt about it. But what I like about Brundage is his finishes, man. This guy's got 7 wins, 6 finishes. That's a dangerous person to be in front of. Although I respect Gore as a fighter, I really wasn't a fan of him on the show. And I thought, Brian Battle is a great fighter, so I was actually really happy when he won. I think this is going to be a really good fight overall. I think the line's set exactly where it should be, but I'm liking the plus money on this one. Again, I'm going here with the finishing and the power behind it. And Brundage lost to Maximov, who we know is a great fighter. So I think he's fought some good fights in the UFC, and he's definitely, to me, proven to me that I think that he's going to come away with this one. So I'm going to rock with Brundage on this one, but don't sleep on Tresean Gore. He's always a strong fighter. He puts on strong performances. I just think Brundage's power and submissions and finish game, I think he has a lot of different ways he can finish people, and I think that that's going to give him the advantage over there, just because he knows how to finish a fight.
It's also worth mentioning that the line has flipped from what it opened at. Brundage actually opened as a favorite when the books opened it up. And so the public has taken Gore and made him a very small favorite, but the bookies are with you on that one.
Yeah, 100%. All right, man. Our next fight of the night, we got a Nurmagomedov. Always got to love when we get to talk about a Nurmagomedov. We got Douglas Silva.
He is not related, though. That's important to mention. He is no relation to Khabib whatsoever, or
no
to
relation.
Usman or any of the other Nurmagomedovs.
Just a common last name there now. So we got Douglas Silva de Andrade coming in at a pretty big underdog, plus 270. He's 28-4 versus Saeed Nurmagomedov, who's coming in at a pretty big favorite, minus 340, and his record is sitting at 15-2. Andrew, give me your thoughts and opinions on this one.
I love D Silva fights. I just love the way that he fights, whether he wins or loses. He goes for the kill, especially now later in his career. He throws everything he has into almost every shot he throws. He throws his punches hard. He throws his kicks hard. He's just a savage in there. He's turned himself into kind of a brawler. He definitely wants a dirty fight where he's just winging hard shots. He has really good experience if you look at the guys he's fought against. Going along with throwing as hard as he does comes, for most people, including him, gas tank problem. So as the fight goes on, if he doesn't find that KO in the first half of the fight or so, he can slow down as the fight goes on. Nurmagomedov, man, he is incredibly impressive. He's not what you would think with that last name. He's much more of a striker than a grappler. He definitely has grappling skill. but his striking is incredibly crisp and clean. He's got really great kicks, and I can't think of another guy that I've described this way before. There are a few guys in the UFC like this, but his kicks are fast. Like when he's throwing a kick, he's got fast kicks, if that makes sense. He's really good defensively. He's got great takedown defense, really good striking defense also. And like I said, he can wrestle and grapple if it comes to it. That's not his primary game, but he's got that in his back pocket, and he's no slouch there. This line scares me. I'd never like betting against D Silva. I don't think that I can bring myself to bet on D Silva in this fight. I did have him in his last fight against Morozov as a plus money underdog, and he pulled the upset there. I'm a huge fan of D Silva. Nurmagomedov's just a different kind of guy, though. He's a problem maker. My pick is going to be Nurmagomedov. I think I'm probably going to just enjoy watching this fight and pass on betting it altogether. I don't love the over. I don't love the under. I think at the line that you're getting Nurmagomedov at, Silva scares me that he could KO him. I think if anything, maybe like a tiny little sprinkle on the Silva KO prop. I don't even know what that number is at, but just kind of talking this through out loud. And that's not something I'd be super confident in. That's something I'd put like maybe a quarter of a unit on or something like that, just to throw at the wall and see if it sticks, kind of thing. But overall, I do think Nurmagomedov's the pick, and I think I'm going to pass betting wise.
So
I can get that. By the way, just sorry to cut you off there. You can get that D Silva by KO or TKO at plus 650. So that might be worth a tiny little sprinkle. We'll have to ruminate on that one and decide whether I think it's worth it.
I really, really like that bet, and so I'm going to ride that with you. But listen, I was always told don't bet against Nurmagomedov. But here's the thing. 20 knockouts in 28 wins?
The guy's a savage.
That's some power.
And
I think here's what's going to happen.
Gas later in fights sometimes.
Here's what's going to happen. His wrestling is going to be tested. He's going to be tested on the ground. If he can pass the test, he will knock out Nurmagomedov.
He'll pass that test. He's at least equally as good on the ground.
I'm with you. I'm torn on this one. I don't really like the line, but I like that knockout bet. I think that's the one. I'm going to be rocking with that one too.
I mean, the other way to go would be Nurmagomedov by knockout, or you could just bet. Some books have just fight ends by knockout. That might be a nice little angle to look at on this one. It's just fight ends by knockout.
Yeah.
Because can either one of the guys submit each other? Yes. Is there a fair chance that the fight goes to decision? Yes. But depending what the line is, just fight ends by knockout might be an interesting bet.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to be rocking that one. That's my pick. You sold me on that one. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'll have to find what the line is before I decide if it's worth it. But yeah, that's an interesting angle for this one.
All right, the next one.
I mean, that's looking at the under too, but ends by knockout is probably better than the under.
Right. Okay, here's the deal. I got to get a sip for this one. By the way, Bill and Bob's roast beef, nice ice cold root beer, Salem, Mass, best roast beef. Can't wait to enjoy this later. But I'm telling you right now, if you're in Salem, Mass, you already know. You know what it is, Bill and Bob's. All right, my dude. This is the fight that I'm most excited for.
I'm with you.
Kyle Boralu versus Arman Petrosyan. Here's the deal. This line is way too low. This is a pick'em fight. This is a -110,
Ooh, we
-110.
disagree.
And here's the deal. I like heavy Baralu. I like him heavy. I want to see him win. I think that he's going to win, but Armand Petrosian is a dangerous, dangerous SOB. And it's tempting to say +190, but I can't bet against Kyle. I just love him so much. I love everything about him. He's got such a great style. But Petrosian is so freaking dangerous. It is scary. Go ahead. I mean, yeah, the same thing. Facts speak for themselves.
I'll disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. So let's talk about Petrosian first. He beat Gregory Rodriguez in his first fight in the UFC. That is an impressive win in your first fight in the UFC. It was a super close fight. There are arguments to be made that either guy won that fight, but to be in there tough with Gregory Rodriguez like that in your first fight in the UFC is incredibly impressive. Petrosian's striking is amazing. He has a kickboxing background. He used to be a professional kickboxer. He's extremely high volume and moves really well on the feet. His takedown defense is okay from what I've seen, but it does look like he is susceptible to the takedown. I am all over Kyle on this one, and I am on him heavy. This is his second fight in the UFC, second co-main event in the UFC, and heard it said a couple of times already, but I agree with this and had this thought before I heard others say it. They're not putting Kyle in the co-main event in his second fight in the UFC after he was in the co-main event in the first fight in the UFC to lose. They're putting him here to win and to build him up and to make him a star. Kyle has really good takedowns. He's a black belt in BJJ, and I believe he's a brown belt in judo, and he mixes those two styles incredibly well. Really great takedowns, really great subs, incredible grappling. The way that he showed top control in his first fight in the UFC was incredibly impressive against another dude who's a really good wrestler grappler. If he gets this fight to the ground against Petrosian, I think he's either going to finish the fight on the ground, or he's at the very least going to be able to hold him down and win any round that he gets a takedown in and gets good top position. I don't see Petrosian getting up against him. And on the feet, we talked about how good Petrosian is. Kyle is no slouch on the feet to me. He's got a really funky, it's not exactly like the Stephen Thompson karate style, but it's kind of like that a little bit. It's like his own unique striking style. Like, there's not even really a comparison for it that I can think of. But he's decent on the feet. He's not a fish out of water on the feet for a guy who's definitely a primary grappler. So I have already bet. I got it early. I got it at -170 before the line got hit hard. And I just bet that straight 1.7 units. I'm trying to get better at this, of like looking ahead to future cards and taking somebody I really like on a card now with somebody maybe 2 weeks ahead that's a huge favorite whose line hasn't gotten touched yet but is going to get smashed. So I parlayed him with Muhammad Mokaev, and Mokaev's like -500, but that line might get smashed to -800 by the time that fight happens. So I like taking it at -500 now. So I parlayed those two together and had an additional bet on Kyle that way. So I'm heavy Kyle.
I'm going to be betting Kyle myself. I just wish the line was closer because I know he's going to win, but can't count out Armand, man. Like, I swear to God, his striking is 0 to none, man. Like, that guy can really be creative, and he's so powerful. But I agree. I do think Baralu is going to get it done. He's such a fun fighter. Literally, I've loved him ever since Dana White's Contender Series, him winning and then not getting a contract, and him understanding I need to do better, and then coming out and securing his contract in his next fight. I mean, that's pretty impressive to do.
His whole thing, man. They're building The dude,
Yep.
he's got a funky personality. He's got the free spirit tattooed across his neck.
Yep.
They're building this guy up to be a star, and we're gonna see. I mean, Petrosian, like you say, it's a solid test. It's a very big test, and there is a chance Petrosian. I think Petrosian's one path to victory in this fight is by knockout.
Yep.
I think that's how he wins. I don't think he wins a decision. I don't think he's submitting Kyle. But I could see him knocking out. That's definitely a possibility.
He is very creative.
Either
way, it's the one I'm most excited about, and I can't wait to watch these two guys fight.
I think the UFC is trying to push Kyle to be a star, and we're gonna see as he moves up and fights tougher and tougher guys whether he has the skills or not. Yep. The book is still out, but based on his first fight in the UFC and based on what like you said, what he did in the Contender Series, he's got potential for sure.
Yeah. I'm so excited for that one. This is I honestly can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
I agree with you. People's main event right there, that one.
100%. All right. So the next fight, it is the main event. We got the Battle of the Rafaels. We got Rafael Dos Anjos 31-13 versus Rafael Fiziev at 11-1. Andrew, give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, so I also have a strong opinion on this one. I'll say it before I go into it. I'm heavy on Fiziev in this one. I had a bet where I early in the week again parlayed Fiziev with David Onama before his first fight got canceled, and thank goodness they rebooked him because I love watching that dude fight. Yeah, Fiziev is obviously the striking coach at Tiger Muay Thai. This is his first 5-round fight, so you've got to wonder how his gas is going to look in the 4th and 5th rounds. He's well known for being an incredible striker. He's probably one of the better strikers in the UFC in any division right now. Muay Thai style mixes, everything that goes along with being an incredible striker. He mixes his striking well, he hits hard, he hits accurately, he throws good volume. Another thing about him that I think is somewhat of an X factor in this fight, he has 95% takedown defense. Dos Anjos' way to win this fight, Dos Anjos is incredibly well-rounded. He's an incredible veteran of the game, former lightweight champ, really, really, really good fighter. Starting to get up there in age. This feels like changing of the guard to me, of Fiziev being on the way up. And, you're going to hear a lot of people say with recency bias, look at what Dos Anjos did to Moicano in his last fight. And no doubt he put on an absolutely dominant performance against a guy who's a really, really good fighter in Moicano. What I think we all have to remember, and what I haven't heard enough people say this week, or really anybody say, is Moicano took that fight on 4 days' notice. So, yes, Dos Anjos beat the absolute crap out of a really, really good fighter in his last fight, but the guy came in on 4 days' notice. So I think that's noteworthy to mention when you're talking about the most recent Dos Anjos performance. Yeah, I'm on Fiziev. I think he keeps the fight standing. I think he's live for a knockout. I think the only thing that worries me is his gas tank in the later rounds. But I do cautiously optimistically think that he can pass that test. And, if we do get to those later rounds, if he doesn't get a knockout in the maybe second or third, that he can at least hang in there and make it to the end of the fight and have won more rounds by the end of the fight.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one. I'm all on the Rafael Fiziev train. I think he's such a good up-and-comer, and he's so powerful, and he's going to really, really put on a show. And I think this is the, again, it's kind of same thing with Kai here. I think, Fiziev's he's got what it takes to be a superstar in this division, and I think that Dana's making him go through the tests. So Dos Anjos is a great fighter. I think you can't be 31 you can't have 31 wins in the UFC and not be a great fighter. So this is going to be great for Fiziev, but I agree with you. I think Rafael Fiziev gets this one done.
I like it. I like that we're on the same side because especially with where the line's at, I wouldn't necessarily blame anybody for taking a shot on Dos Anjos like over plus 200. There is a world that exists where even if Fiziev wins the first and the second, and Dos Anjos is hanging in there as the rounds get later. It's a possibility, but yeah, I'm with Fiziev and feeling decent about it. It's not my strongest pick ever of all time, but I feel okay about it.
All right, man. We ready for our knockouts and our
Let's do it.
Lottery tickets.
You go first because I'm not prepared, as per usual.
All right. It's okay. I got you. All right. My knockout bet, all right, is going to be Cody Brundage. That's my knockout bet.
Ooh, by knockout?
By knockout.
I mean, he does have 3 knockouts, right?
Yep. And then, that's the one. That's the one I'm going to be rocking with.
That's a tough one. I like the balls on that pick, though. I'll be honest. I haven't studied this fight at all because they just made it, I think, yesterday. But I think Onama's definitely live for a knockout. I think Ricky Tercios is a possibility. I think either one of Malarkey or Michael Johnson could knock each other out. There's some spots. I mean, we talked about D Silva and Nurmagomedov. Either one of those guys could knock each other out. Man, I think I'm going though with the one that just seems the most obvious to me, and that's Rafael Fiziev.
I like it. All right. I'm trying to dial up my lottery ticket right now. Do you have a lottery ticket?
I don't, but I can tell you some underdogs I like, and then as per usual, I'll tweet a lottery ticket probably like Saturday morning. Let's see. Ooh, the Ronnie Lawrence line got smoked. I got that one at minus 120. It's down to like minus 150 in some spots. That's interesting. I mean, I think in a lottery ticket bet, depending on what it gets to, you might want to look at Cody Brundage. Best line on him right now is plus 125. I probably wouldn't do it quite yet at that number, but if he's getting up to like plus 140, plus 150, I don't know if that'll happen or not, because I think that's a pretty close fight. I'm actually surprised it's as wide as it is. But if he's in the plus 140, plus 150 range, he would definitely be in a lottery ticket for me. I have already bet this Nina Nunez as an underdog. Definitely would put her in a lottery ticket. I think Michael Johnson at plus 200 in a lottery ticket is worth it. I talked about D Silva. I mean, that one's a little crazy, but you get in a pretty good number. You can get plus 270 just to win. I think the more way to go is the plus 650 KO. I think that's very likely his only path to winning. So if you put that plus 650 D Silva KO in with Nina Nunez and yeah, I mean, like I said too, if Dos Anjos gets up over plus 200, that might be worth a little nibble in a lottery ticket too. So there are definitely some lottery ticket spots on this one.
Yeah, I like that one. Mine is a plus 1100. We're going with Cody Brundage, Kai Varalu, Ricky Turcios, Kennedy Nzechukwu, and Antonio Shevchenko. All really, really low favorites, with just the Cody with the plus 150 underdog. But that's coming in at plus 1100. So
there you go.
I'm liking that.
I like it.
Awesome,
buddy. I like
it
a lot.
Well, as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Please please keep tuning in week after week for more of our knockout bets, and our lottery tickets of the week and our fight breakdowns. We really appreciate.
Hey,
all the support.
I'm gonna tease something, and you're
Yeah.
gonna tell me whether we're allowed to announce it to the public yet. So there's something coming up in September, and I know you know what I'm talking about when I mention that. Is that releasable to the
Dude,
public yet?
you know what? Let's do it. It's releasable September 23rd, Salem, Mass. We are going to be holding our first ever Recliner Sports Report charity fundraising event. So again, we had mentioned this a couple weeks ago. You know, really where we started this company is we wanted to be able to use sports media and our platform to help raise money for charities and people in need. So we are happy to announce that on September 23rd, we will be running a Sunset Charity Cruise event. Tickets will be going live within the month. You'll be able to get tickets on mahicruises.com. We are so excited. We're still finalizing what animal shelter we're going to be working with. So that look out for that announcement. But the idea is that we're going to raise money to help with a local animal shelter in Salem, Mass. So I'm super excited. This is what we've been talking about and dreaming about for the last couple months, and for it to finally just come unfold. So thank you. Huge shout out to Mahi Cruises for getting us access to the boat for that day. I really appreciate it. And I hope we can see all of you on the cruise and we can raise some monies for them little kitties and them little puppies.
Absolutely, 100%. And, you know, probably goes without saying, but on the cruise, there's going to be some good food, some good drinks, some good music. We'll have some games, some raffles. We're going to have a good old time. So if you're in Salem, Mass, or anywhere within driving distance, come see us. We're going to have a great time and raise great money for an awesome cause.
Super excited. All right, everyone. Well, keep an eye out for all that. Again, thank you all for watching. And until next week, keep the change.
Keep the change.